There's a moment that happens to almost everyone. You're scrolling through your phone, just killing a few minutes. Then you see it. Someone your age bought a house. Someone started a successful business. Someone got married. Someone has the perfect body. Someone is traveling the world. Someone seems happier, richer, smarter, more attractive, and somehow more successful than you. And suddenly, the day that felt completely normal a few seconds ago starts to feel different. You begin questioning yourself. Why am I so far behind? What am I doing wrong? Why does it seem like everyone else is moving forward while I'm standing still? And before you know it, you're carrying around a feeling that's hard to explain. A feeling that no matter what you do, it's never enough. If you've ever felt that way, you're not alone. In fact, one of the biggest reasons people struggle with self-worth today isn't because they're failing. It's because they're constantly comparing themselves to people they were never meant to compare themselves to. And the scary part? Most of us don't even realize we're doing it. Comparison has become so normal that it feels automatic. You open social media in the morning. You see someone else's achievements. You see their highlights, their victories, their milestones, and your brain immediately starts measuring your life against theirs. Not because you're jealous, not because you're a bad person, but because that's how human beings are wired. For thousands of years, our brains have compared ourselves to others to understand where we fit in. Back then, it helped us survive. Today, it often makes us miserable, because we're no longer comparing ourselves to 10 or 20 people around us. We're comparing ourselves to hundreds, sometimes thousands of people every single day. And most of those comparisons aren't fair. Think about it. You compare your worst moments to someone's best moments. You compare your behind the scenes to their highlight reel. You compare your everyday life to a carefully edited version of theirs. And then you wonder why you feel inadequate. The truth is, social media has created an environment where almost everyone looks happier than they actually are. People share the promotion, not the rejection letters. They share the vacation, not the stress that came before it. They share the relationship photos, not the arguments, doubts, and struggles that happen behind closed doors. You see the outcome. You don't see the process. And because you don't see the process, your brain fills in the gaps. You start believing their life is easier, better, more complete. Meanwhile, they might be looking at someone else's profile and feeling the exact same way. It's a cycle that never ends. Because comparison doesn't have a finish line. No matter how much you achieve, there will always be someone who has more. More money, more followers, more success, more opportunities. If your self-worth depends on being ahead of everyone else, you'll spend your entire life chasing a target that keeps moving. And that's exhausting. What's even more dangerous is that comparison slowly changes the way you see yourself. You stop appreciating your progress. You stop noticing your strengths. You stop celebrating your wins. Because instead of looking at how far you've come, you're focused on how far someone else appears to be. And over time, this creates a quiet kind of insecurity. Not loud insecurity. Not obvious insecurity. The kind that shows up in small moments. You hesitate before trying something new because you think someone else is already better. You stay silent because you assume your opinion is invaluable. You downplay your achievements because they don't seem impressive compared to someone else's. You become your own biggest critic. And the worst part is that many people mistake this for motivation. They think comparison is pushing them to improve. Sometimes it does, for a short time. But motivation built on comparison rarely lasts. Because eventually, it turns into pressure. Then frustration, then self-doubt, then burnout. You start chasing goals that don't even belong to you. Goals that look impressive from the outside, but don't actually matter to you. Have you ever wanted something simply because everyone else seemed to have it? A certain career, a certain lifestyle, a certain definition of success. Then you finally get closer to it and realize you never truly wanted it in the first place. You just didn't want to feel left behind. That's one of the biggest traps comparison creates. It disconnects you from your own path. Instead of asking, what do I actually want? You start asking, what are other people doing? And those are very different questions. The problem is that every person's timeline is different. Some people find success early. Others find it later. Some people meet the right opportunity at 20. Others at 40. Some people struggle for years before things finally start working out. Life isn't a race with a single finish line. It's a collection of different journeys happening at different speeds. But comparison tricks you into believing everyone should be moving at the same pace. Imagine planting two different seeds. One grows in a few weeks. The other takes months. Would you dig up the second seed every day and call it failure? Of course not. You understand that different things grow differently. Yet when it comes to ourselves, we forget this completely. We expect our lives to unfold according to someone else's timeline. And when they don't, we assume something is wrong with us. Maybe the reason you don't feel good enough has nothing to do with your abilities. Maybe it has more to do with where you're directing your attention. Because attention is powerful. Whatever you focus on grows. If you constantly focus on what you lack, you'll always feel lacking. If you constantly focus on what others have, you'll overlook what you already possess. And that doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It doesn't mean ignoring your goals or settling for less. It simply means learning to measure your progress differently. Instead of asking, am I ahead of them? Ask yourself, am I moving forward compared to who I was 6 months ago? That's a healthier comparison. Because the only life you're actually responsible for improving is your own. Not theirs. Yours. And here's something worth remembering. The people you admire aren't perfect either. They have fears, insecurities, bad days, moments of doubt, challenges you know nothing about. They're human, just like you. The difference is that you see your entire story and only a small piece of theirs. That's why comparison almost always puts you at a disadvantage. You're comparing complete information against incomplete information. And no matter how strong you are mentally, that game is impossible to win. So what do? Start paying attention to your own lane again. Spend less time watching other people's progress and more time building your own. Celebrate small wins. Notice growth that isn't visible to anyone else. Recognize the habits you're improving, the lessons you're learning, the person you're becoming. Because real confidence doesn't come from proving you're better than other people. It comes from knowing you're becoming better than the person you used to be. And that kind of confidence can't be taken away by someone else's success. The next time you catch yourself feeling behind, pause for a moment. Take a breath. And remember this. Someone else's progress is not proof of your failure. Someone else's success does not reduce your potential. Someone else's journey has nothing to do with your worth. You were never meant to live their life. You were meant to build your own. And maybe the real reason you never feel good enough isn't because you're failing. Maybe it's because you've been measuring your value with the wrong ruler all along. The moment you stop comparing your life to everyone else's is the moment you finally give yourself permission to appreciate the life you're building. And that might be one of the most freeing things you'll ever do. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button. It really supports the channel. And if you enjoy simple ideas that help you build a stronger mindset and better habits, make sure you subscribe for more.